I will want to predicate my contribution on a note of caution. Because we can easily get carried away. And it has happened before. Soon after the spate of independence, everything seemed to be going on right for us. Cocoa was selling high, coffee was selling high, tea was selling high, and we were all doing well. In my own country, in Ibadan, we built a cocoa house, the tallest building in Nigeria. When everything went down, we didn't even have enough money to be able to maintain it, and it went into dereliction. Now, I want to start on a strong cautionary note. And I believe it is that feeling that is telling us now we want to look at 50 years ahead. 50 years in a human situation is too long a time to look. It's too, no, we don't even know what will happen in 10 years. But if we are going to say, look, in 50 years, we will want to maintain this, self-reliance, cooperation, unity, and in general principle that way, and we then say, okay, look, in 5 years, what can we do? In another 5 years, what can we do? Or at most, break it into decades. The first decade, the second decade, and so on. Now, Helen has given us the 4 blocks that can make us not to achieve. Inequity within our countries and even between countries in Africa, and of course, growing inequity between Africa and the rest of the world. That we have to be watchful of. Now, global, I put something down here. Global in, let me just see what I put down out of your, global inclusion and popular participation. Now, that is very important, and part of what we are seeing, and I will comment the points that I put down that we have to watch out for to get us to even maintain what we are doing now and to get us going and beyond. I will come to that. Of course, popular participation, no matter what you are, you want to have a feeling that you have a stake in how you are governed. You have a say. You have a feeling that, yes, you are all right, you're economically, socially, but that feeling is very important. Degraded environment, I don't have to say much about that, but I will say something here which people don't always like to hear. Now, if some people have degraded the environment before I come, and now you say, look, stop, don't degrade the environment, and you have had opportunity to degrade the environment, and it is your degrading the environment that makes you to be what you are, and you say, look, I must remain where I am so that I will not degrade the environment and therefore keep me down. Well, I have always said, look, let me contribute a little bit to the degrading of the environment, and then we work together. Yeah, to clean it up. You've made a mess of it, and I want to create a little bit of my own mess. Let me do that, and then we can join hands and clean the mess together. Now, but it is important, I do agree that it is important that we must be mindful of the environment. demographic change, or some people call it demographic bulge, or whatever you call it. You know, in my part of the world, having large number of children or large family is not a problem. It's when you do not have the means to look after them and make them productive that is a problem. Now, and that is what we are saying here. The population by itself, it should not be the problem. It's our ability to educate, train, equip, and give skill to that population so that that population can become an asset rather than a liability. That's where the problem lies. Now, let me now say the 5 or 6 points that I believe we have to watch out for, so that we don't get carried away and become complacent. Oh, Africa is rising. And yes, we are rising. On what basis? On the basis of natural resources whose prices have gone up. That's all. We are not adding any value. Now, is that what we want to do? And the African Panel's report, which I'm a member of, which was launched, I think, about a week or two ago, we talk of equity in extractives. What are we talking about? We are being shortchanged, almost all of us, in this extractive industry. I will not mention name, but if you want to know the name after this, you come and ask me. There's a country where a mining company for the past 12 years has been declaring loss and is still in business. For the past 12 years, it has been declaring loss, and yet is still in business. Now, that must tell you something. There's another country where recently I was making an inquiry, and every night there are some people who will pay pittance to the people, the local people, and say, look, this black earth, just put it in the bag, and they bring boat in the night to collect it and take them to their country. Now, that we are not getting value for money. Now, part of it is because of the agreement we have made with this mining company and with the international business group, because of we don't know any better. So the fault is partly ours and partly theirs. Now, I have talked about education. Education, if we do not, 30 million African children that are out of school, it's a great liability. And that could mean a difference between moving forward and continuing to move forward or being retarded. Because those 30 million children in 10, 15, 20 years' time, they become a liability. They become miscreants. They become drug traffickers and drug users, and all that will go along with it. We are not doing enough in the agricultural business. I call it, now I don't refer to it as agriculture, I call it agribusiness, because it takes the whole range. Now, we are not doing enough, and we need to do enough. Well, that may cut short our so-called rising. No, not in agribusiness. I also add value addition to that. Now, the area of governance. We are doing elections. I think I would say an election that, no matter how bad it is, that indicate the will of the people is better than no election at all. But we are having elections, even if the results are being disputed. I believe that that is good. But after elections, what? Corruption. That is embedded, even endemic in some cases. And finally, poverty and unemployment of youth. To me, when we come up and we say, yes, Africa is growing at 7% GDP. If I go to my village and say, oh, look, you are all better off than last year by 7%, they will look at me and say, is he mad? Because they know that they are worse off than last year. But the economists have told us that we are all better off by 7% because GDP growth in Nigeria is 7%. Now, how do we handle that? And I believe that we should be mindful of these things because they are here with us. Now, they are not things that we're not even talking of 2023. They are here with us, not to talk of 2063. And I believe that these are things that we watch out for so that we are not complacent. We are not told that, yes, because the window of opportunity that is there now will not be there forever. We had it, as I said, in the early 60s, and we don't know how long this will be on for. And after it fizzled out after the early 50s, they said we were the ones that were wrong, but the World Bank and the IMF told us what we should do. And when what they told us did not work, they say we are wrong. I believe that now we are better off. But let me end on this note. We have increased our trade with China from 1 billion to 14 billion. Good. The impact of that can be seen in China. The impact of that may not be seen here. And that, to me, is a problem. The impact of that increase can be seen in China. China has done very well to reduce its level of poverty tremendously. So we must be able to put these figures, these statistics, these data in terms of the welfare and well-being of our people.